name is Quentin Walker, and today I'm joined by Jay Bragg. He's a country artist based out of Nashville, and today we're talking all things new music, tattoos, the Muppets. We'll cover a lot of different things. Good morning, Jay. How are you?
Good, man. Good morning to you.
Good. It's so nice to meet you. Now, you're in Nashville right now?
That's correct.
Awesome. Are you a fan of the city, or is it just kind of where you've ended up?
I am a fan of the city. I come from a much smaller city, Portland, Maine, and that was just for my ambitions far too small. So I came down here, for work, for music, and I've gotten the opportunities that have presented themselves to me here. I wouldn't have gotten, 99% of the other cities in this country. So I love it here, and it's home. I'll always have a home in Nashville.
Well, that's awesome. Now, speaking of that music, you have a new album that's kind of being released right now. It's coming out in 3 different parts. It's called Find Me in a Song. So the first part came out already. What has been the fan reaction so far?
People have really been digging it. So it's a bit different than anything that I've done. Well, certainly my past record, the first record that I made here, was really right down the middle, like honky tonk music, kind of more like 90s country influence. And this one has got a lot of more bluesy and soul influences. I have a gospel choir on there on some songs. It's also I think it kind of doesn't follow the country music playbook, at all. Well, in a lot of respects. So people have reacted very positively to how it's pushing boundaries. So that's great to hear. I'm always trying to reinvent myself.
That's awesome. Now, I listened to the whole album, and I completely understand what you're saying with the whole inspiration and pushing the boundaries, because I was listening, and I don't know the most country music, but I was like, wait a minute, this isn't about beer and rolling in the mud and those just the typical things that everybody kind of goes to. These had their own little stories in them. When you sit down to write a song, where do you start?
You know what? That's a great question. I start, I keep a journal going. Actually, this is it right here. This is one of them. So every morning I sit right here on this couch with a cup of coffee and a journal, and I write for maybe 10 to 15 minutes about things I'm grateful for, things I'm struggling with, kind of how the previous day went, what I'm looking for out of today, what I'd like to improve on. And I work through, it's like my therapy. I work through, things in my life that way. And most of my songs come right out of my writings, my journal about what's going on in my life. And also it's reflections of what I'm seeing in the world. I read a ton. I read the New York Times, every morning as well. And I always have, my mind and soul centered on kind of what we're dealing with as a country, which is pretty crazy right now. Mm-hmm. So really my inspiration comes out of the life that I live and the life that I see of the people around me and the struggles and joys of that. I don't write like a lot of modern country music. They're writing some kind of story about some kind of an eternal youth, like college frat party. And I don't live that life. I'm not going to write those songs. I would have a hard time even if that was my job to write those songs, because it feels to me that feels soulless. That's not where my heart and soul is. So yeah, to answer your question, I think for me, I'm just really perceptive on my own feelings and my own life and the world around me, and I put that into music.
Well, I'll tell you that one journal has way cooler stuff than any book I've got in my apartment. That's for sure.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Yeah. So, yeah, that's where, music for me is a way of just, is just like, it is like a therapy in a lot of ways, just getting out these feelings and turning feelings into creativity. That's something that is how I write. It's part of my process.
Is there a song on the album that was particularly harder to write than the others?
Um, yeah, I would say, the song coming up right now, Angel Eyes, which is going to be released on volume 2, was a challenge to write, because I wrote it when a breakup was so very fresh, and I was still so very heartbroken and so deceived. Somebody was just really, a pathological liar. Somebody turns out to be nothing of what they showed you. And so pouring out and like being super, super brutally honest, knowing that person would probably hear it as well. That was it. That was a challenge. You have to really dig deep, and you have to be okay with being very vulnerable, like allowing you to open the pages of this book, basically allowing, my listeners to open my diary and read my innermost thoughts and struggles. So that was one of the hardest ones to write, and I'm so proud of how it came out.
But it's funny that you mentioned that song, because I gave the whole album a listen, and Angel Eyes was by far my favorite on the album. The beat and just the snapping, and it was just like, I was vibing to it so well. I was like, wait a minute, I'm loving this. So Angel Eyes, Liquor Salesman, and Where the Sun Sets, those are the 3 that are coming out October 2nd. So I want to make sure you guys also read those.
Pardon me?
Oh, I was just saying, you want to make sure that everyone listening goes and streams those October 2nd, because that's the day that those 3 come out, and that's super exciting. Now, you have a new album coming out, but you've also been touring before quarantine started. You were opening for Alan Jackson. What was that like?
It was one of the greatest experiences of my life. It was, you work so hard to be able to play those big stages in arenas. Since I was a kid, I'd been, even before I played guitar, I'd be, with my, with a broom and like, in my room, just like, envisioning, a sold out arena crowd in front of me. So, I mean, literally that was a manifestation of a lifelong dream to be able to do that. And, the amount of fans that I made through that whole process, the being able to work with, a state of the art team who, that is a well-oiled machine, the Allen crew. It was humbling to work in a situation, something so much bigger than you, but you have a seat at the table, you're included, and it's a real validation to the hard work that I've put into it. So very, very grateful to be able to do that.
Oh, that's so cool. Now, so touring really isn't happening right now due to the coronavirus pandemic, but you were recently performing in Tennessee at an outdoor venue that accommodates for social distancing. They have little pods for audience members. What was that concert like?
That is a model that needs to be applied here in the States as much as possible. It was really cool to be able to see. The first time I saw that it was going on in Great Britain, and I said, why aren't we doing that here? If we can't have people close together, why not just separate them with steel barricades and have everybody have their own individual spot, and they're away from the general population. So it was really, I was very optimistic to see that put into practice. And outdoor venue, we're lucky here in Tennessee that, the outdoor season is long. Like, we still probably have until mid-November, that we can be able to still, maybe even late November, that we can still play music outside, because it'll be warm enough to do so. So that was a very progressive model of how to safely reintroduce live music, because it's everyone has missed it. Not only people like me who rely on that, and but also, fans of music, fans of people. We're a communal, by nature, we're very communal and like to get together. And music is that, kind of that commonality that we can just enjoy and find hope through. So I was very, very optimistic to see that.
And, thinking about that one event, I think it just goes to show that as much as you do need the ticket sales, and you need people to come out and listen and all of this, like, live music isn't about filling every single spot in the stands. It's not about cramming as many people in as you can. It's just about getting to that place where you can perform and they are there just to be able to take it all in and just kind of collectively have that one experience.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And it's something that, is severely lacking. You see, like, public health is on such a decline right now. And for me, live music, it was, that's like my Prozac. That's what keeps me happy. And, I think most humans, that collective concert experience is such a driver of happiness. So to figure out a way of doing that safely, it just has to be done.
That's awesome. I love seeing how much you go through supporting live music and making sure that it is available. You also, I noticed, have been doing some live streams of music, and you've actually been donating some of those tips to the Save the Music Foundation. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah. So basically, I would not be a professional musician if it wasn't for the music education that I got in the schools. From very early on. I started at age 4 with the Suzuki program at my school. Started on the violin, and not only did it teach me a lot of discipline and rudiments musically, but it also inspired me. At age 5, I played my first show on a stage, and I just was enamored by the lights, by the crowd, by the dust particles and the spotlights. I mean, little things like this, the smells, the sound of, the sound of your feet walking on a stage. Everything about that experience was magical to me. And I was encouraged. I was not only taught how to play music, but I was encouraged, and the music teachers that I had saw something in me that they demanded that I keep on going for it, keep on working towards it, and put in those hours practicing. And that all came down to maybe about 6 teachers in my life throughout the years, that I had lessons from, that allowed me to blossom into what would someday become a professional full-time music career. So music in schools is something that I'm very passionate for. I'm an advocate for, and I kind of partnered with the Save the Music Foundation, recently, and I said, I'm just going to donate a portion off the top to this charity, and it's been great to be able to, send them, every week or every 2 weeks, send them, some money just to keep on doing what they're doing, but also like let my fan base and my audience know and understand the importance of music education, because it's one of the first things to get arts education is one of the first things to get cut in schools. Mm-hmm. It's considered more elective. There's a big investment that has to be made. There's a big infrastructure that has to be made. And you're going to see, and we already have seen, a very big decline in the culture, the artistic culture of the country, if an investment isn't made. So that foundation, and I sent them a note asking how I can even be more involved. I would love to work directly with them to ensure that schools are getting the help that they need to have thriving music programs.
Well, that's awesome. I look forward to hopefully getting to see that kind of, grow into something more and stuff. And hopefully they can, come up with some way to partner with you there. That's really cool to see. I mean, growing up, I was going through, the music programs and the theater, the arts programs. And, every single time, we try to do something, there's always just this barrier in the schools. So it really, every little bit helps, whether it goes towards buying one kid's sheet music or a whole, violin. It really just adds up and helps.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it takes a village. Everybody has to get together, because, the proper funding is not coming from the federal government. So people have to get together, and especially people like me who are the beneficiaries of this great education and who have had the opportunity to really go after their dreams because of the education that they got in school and music programs. So it's essential.
Yeah. Oh, hopefully we can get some things worked out there and we can continue to, push for those, and even just putting out live music. And that inspires just the next generation of musicians and artists that are going to come up and demand that they get that in their education as well. Yeah. So shifting gears, I've heard you have some pretty cool tattoos. What's your favorite one?
Yeah, I can show you, actually. Let's see here. So yeah, I got a lot. I'm like this right here. there, here. Where else? I got one here. I think like this one is my current favorite one. This is a symbol for gratitude. And I try to, every day I might have told you earlier, but every day in this journal, one of the things I do practice is I write down 10 things that I'm grateful for in life. Mm-hmm. Even if, sometimes you wake up and you're not feeling in a grateful mood, but I force myself to think of the things that I am grateful for. And that like kind of starts me out. That kind of sets a tone for the day of positivity and thankfulness. So, and, through like COVID and things like that, where the music business has been really decimated, and, insurmountable challenges we've all had to face, taking time to meditate on the things that you're grateful for and the things that, the blessings that you have, has been, one of the saving graces for me. So yeah, I think that one, just the idea of gratitude, being grateful for what you have and not taking anything for granted, is something that is a practice to me that's essential in my well-being.
Oh, that's such a cool story. It's like you would never, you see it, you would never know what it means or what's behind it. And,
well, that's the thing with tattoos, I think it's more for the person who has it than for the people that are looking at it. I mean, it's like I think tattoos are cool because it's like using your body as a canvas and telling a story with that canvas that is permanent. So I love them. I'm due for another one, I think.
Uh-oh, got to brainstorm some new ideas.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah. All right. Well, last real quick question before I let you go. I saw on Instagram on your story you had posted a happy birthday to the late Jim Henson, the creator of the Muppet.
Oh, yeah.
Now, Miss Piggy, in my opinion, just might be the most absolute perfect thing ever created by man. Do you have a favorite Muppet?
My favorite Muppet is Animal. So I played Animal. So the drums were my main instrument for about 13 years. So
okay,
I played violin, piano, and then I transitioned to the drums. And I took, I have had the longest training as a drummer than any other instrument. And Animal was like always my favorite, and he was the drummer, but he also inspired me to start playing drums. But I carried on. I was very serious about drums for a lot of years, and then I got a lot of school scholarships to the college I went to for drumming, and I was the first chair jazz drummer in their big, jazz ensemble. And because of the work that I put in with drums, I was able to get some really great scholarships, and I don't have any student loan debt anymore because I was able to pay it off because of the scholarships I got because of drumming, partially because of Animal on the Muppet. So you never know where you're going to find inspiration,
Yeah. Oh, that's such a cool story. No, well, so you played the drums, but then, here, even on this new album, you're playing the guitar, the harmonica, and singing at the same time. Let me tell you, I can't even walk and chew gum at the same time. How do you juggle all of that?
Well, man, that's not even so right now. And what I did even before I moved to Nashville was I had a two-man band called North of Nashville. And I'm doing that now because we're starting to play music again, but with a smaller band. And so not only am I playing the guitar, I got the harmonica holder, singing, but I'm playing the bass drum with my right foot and the tambourine with my left foot. So I know your brain is doing acrobats right now, just trying to think of it.
Yeah.
But literally every limb I have in my mouth are doing something completely different. And it all comes together as as a musical piece, and it's all in sync. But that is just one of those things. It comes natural for me. I wouldn't be able to do that if I didn't study the drums for so long, because rhythm comes very natural to me.
It's all thanks to Animal. It really is.
Exactly. It all comes back to Animal for sure. So thank you, Jim Henson.
Awesome. That's so cool. Well, thank you so much, Jay, for sitting down and talking with me today. Everyone at home, make sure you check out the new album. There's 3 new songs, including Angel Eyes, one of my personal favorites. Super awesome song. It's on the new album, Find Me in a Song, and those 3 new songs come out October 2nd, so make sure that you stream it where music is available. Thank you so much.
Yeah, man, it's been a pleasure. Thank you.